Shop Cake Live with me, Tracey Mann, Saturday morning 10 o'clock, and I'm live this morning. I'm going to show you some different ideas coming up for Mother's Day, Easter Day. Those things are fast and rapidly approaching. So I'm going to make some cupcakes this morning. I'm going to show you some bits and pieces using some cookie cutters we've got, and also some of the silicone moulds that we have here as well. So another packed morning full of lots of ideas for you to have a go at yourself. That's the idea anyway. So we're live on Facebook. We are also streaming on YouTube. I'm going to put that up there because I'm going to just talk about YouTube just for a second while it's running. So we do stream out of YouTube as well. When you go onto YouTube, and if you go into my channel and if you look across the top, you'll see a section called Lives. And if you click Live, then you will be able to see this video running, but you will also be able to see previous episodes of Let's Shop Cake Live as well. Now, I've been very active this week. I have been going through those episodes and finding out what I did on each episode, and I've been putting pictures up on the front of these YouTube videos so you can actually see exactly what went on that particular episode. So lots of you get in contact with me and said, I've bought this cookie cutter and I don't know which episode of Let's Shop it is. We're going to be referring you to YouTube so that you can have a look through those pictures, and you will then be able to find the episode in question, or as close as I can get. I'm not doing too bad. I've done a few this week, so if you go and have a look, you will be able to see it on YouTube. So when you go to my channel, very, very important that you manage to, you click the button live. That's really important. And then you will see the videos there for Let's Shop Cake Live. They're not in the main part of the channel. I'm glad to read somebody is watching the horse video. That's Donna. Good morning. That's what I like to hear. So we have a new class out today, which Donna is talking about at the moment. Let me find my cake school thing. There we go. Yes, we have a new class today. There it is. It is the horse cake. So I was asked to do this years ago, and I mean years ago. And I'm not massively keen on horses. I did attempt to learn to ride a horse in my 40s and it was a disaster, so I'm not going to ever get on another horse. And also the fact Kelly's now really allergic to horses kind of makes me want to stay away from them, but they are very beautiful creatures and I'm very happy to have painted one. And I will say that this is not as easy as it looks this time. It's a little bit more tricky than it was before, so I'm going to just bring this over so you can have a little look at it. There we go. I'm going to put him under the camera there so you can have a little look at the details here. But there is a very important lesson on this particular class, and that is, let me take that down so you can see it a bit better. There is a lesson on mixing colours, and this mixing colour lesson is really important. And I've actually even highlighted it on the school this time to say, even if you've watched all my classes before, please watch this particular lesson because it's really going to help you. And hopefully someone will agree with me at some point. I only went out yesterday, so it's a brand new class. But yes, there is a very important section on mixing colours, and I think it will really help people to read or learn from that particular lesson how to do it. So I'm encouraging everybody who's a gold or silver member, because don't forget this is a cake painting class, so they're already out for gold and silver membership this morning. Anybody else who'd like to join, you can either join as a monthly member or you can buy the class outright. The class is £25. If you want to buy it, you get to keep it forever. If you want to join as a monthly member, then you have access to it for as long as you pay. So it is I'm going to move him up a little bit so you can see him. Or perhaps I'll move my camera back a bit. Maybe that'll help. I'll just highlight all the mess I've got around me. That's usually what happens. So the horse is quite big. The only thing I would say with it is that you can size it up and size it down, which you can do with any of my projects. So don't feel that you have to do exactly what I've done on here. You're asking me, and I'm looking for a ruler, which of course isn't jumping out on me, but I'm going to look at this. I think it's a 10 by 8 cake. I think that's the size of the horse. So the cake board is probably a 12 by 16, I would imagine, something along those lines. But it doesn't matter, to be honest. You can do whatever size you like. It really is up to you, because you can, as I say, shrink it down or make it bigger, make it smaller. It is quite a big cake, but the reason it was quite a big cake is because that just happened to be the polystyrene dummy that I had at the time. But also I think it looks better maybe even on an oblong cake. The other way of looking at it, of course, is if you do the horse down one side and the happy birthday on the other side. And the same rules apply with this as with all the other animal paints that I talk about. If you know someone with a horse, then what you just need to do is follow this horse paint and then change your colours. So if you've got a black and white horse or a grey horse or whatever it is that you do, just follow along but change your colours as you go, and you will be able to do this. So it's nice and straightforward, really lovely instructions on shading, particularly on this one. The area you've got to watch, this is the area here that you've got to pay most attention to here. Be very careful around this area, but you'll hear me talk repeatedly about this when you do it, and you will hear me going, watch this. So usually if I'm saying those things, it means I've fallen into the trap at some point, because I often do these paints. I might, do them in advance, do a couple of goes first before we record it. And there I find out all the pitfalls. So there is a pitfall round about this area here. So just be very careful when you come to do this bit at the bottom as well. So just keep an eye on that. So there were lots of requests for horses. Some people have been noted that asked for the horse. It's here. So I'll be watching to check you actually do it. No, it's there for everyone to have a go at. For those people that have done beginners cocoa butter painting, you'll be fine. You will absolutely have no problem with this at all. It looks harder than it is, but of course we provide templates, which makes it easier for you then to be able to have a go at painting it. So just need a little bit of time, and you'll be all right. So there we go. All right, so that's the new horse cake that's out today. Let me come back on screen. There I am. Yes, that's the new horse cake that's out. I'm going to move him back over here so I don't get all sorts of things all over him. I'm going to stand him up there. What I also do, actually, I'll show you this. See, when I do my trial runs, I do them on, that's a little version of him, you see. So I do paint small versions of these as well as big ones. Now this is, I'd say that's a 9-inch square board. So if you want to do a smaller version and you are getting the class, if you can put it into your computer and just shrink it down, or if you've got an iPad, just shrink it down and then print it, you'll find you can do a much smaller version. This is, if I hold those two up together, you'll see that it is a much smaller version than the original one. And that was my test one to kind of see what was the better of the test ones. The first one went in the bin. You see, we all make mistakes. This is what you'll hear me saying on my classes. We all make mistakes. And this was my second attempt. So this one was a much better one. And that's the final one. So we learn every time we do these things. And that's what it's important. That's what it's all about, isn't it? So the cake school is on this address here, which has just gone up on the screen now. We have another little class coming out at the end of the month. We have royal icing as well coming out at the end of the month. Royal icing has been delayed marginally. Let's bring this up there. This one's been just delayed slightly because we fitted in the Easter one, which I was really keen to get in quickly, which was the one I showed you last week, which was this one where we were burning away the wafer paper to get the Easter bunny out from underneath, and I really wanted to do this one, so I've just marginally delayed the royal icing to get this one in instead. So there it is. So I don't know if the video still runs. I'll try and play the video. Oh, look, there it is running. So for anybody that missed this last week, this is the new class that's on the school. Now what I've done here on Let's Shop is you can actually buy the class as part of buying the wafer paper prints that you need in order to be able to do this class. So if you want to have a go and gain access to the class, if you go back to Let's Shop Cake Live, you'll see on there there's two ways to buy it. You can either buy the sheets, that's it on its own, or you can buy the sheets with the class, and I've given you the class for like £10 or something included as a bundle, so you'll get then logged on to the class that way. Or you can go straight to the cake school and buy the class, but it's more expensive over there. It's £15. Or you can join as a member and then you can have access to it whenever you like while you're still paying your membership. So there we go. But it is a bit of fun. It is a new trend at the moment, and I thought, I've just got to do this, and I couldn't think of anything better than where is the Easter Bunny? Because it's quite a big question. I love that question, where is the Easter Bunny? We used to have an Easter Bunny costume, and I would wear it for my nephews and jump out from behind bushes and things in my parents' garden. So it's quite a fun thing to remember. So I thought, burning away that where is the Easter Bunny, lots of fun. So there we go. So if you want to have a go at doing the rabbit cake, so where's the Easter Bunny, or the horse cake, those are the two new classes that we've had out in the last 2 weeks. So I'm bringing out classes roughly at the moment every 2 to 3 weeks. There's something new. So the school itself is growing, and it's now growing rapidly. So there are a lot of cake painting projects on there as well. We have more to come. I'm very slowly releasing a few more. I recorded a new cupcake bouquet yesterday, so that will be going on to the school in the summer, early June. I expect that one to go on. There's a wedding cake coming up, the bottom tier of a wedding cake with all lovely paints, wisteria on it. That's really nice, a bit of 3D wisteria. So there are lots and lots of different things that are coming up on the school all the time. So if you do fancy joining it, maybe your New Year's resolutions haven't kicked in yet, but if you do want to come and join us, the address is up on the screen now, tracymanncakeschool.co.uk. We have top membership is $12.50 a month, which I don't think is too bad value when you look around. We are very much trying to keep these prices intact. I really don't want to have to put these prices up, so I'm trying my hardest to keep them down as best I can. Or you can join for the year. You can pay £150 and join for the year, and then you can crack on with whatever it is you want to do. As I say, there's lots and lots of different things to do on the Cake School. And if you have any questions as well, you can always get in contact with me and I will be more than happy to help you. We have our own Facebook page for the Gold members as well, and they're always very busy in there asking lots of questions, and you can kind of use it as a bit of a help desk as well. So if you're making other cakes that aren't on the school and you need some help, and I can help you, if I can help you, I will. I'll point you in the right direction of what you need to do or where you need to look for whatever it is that you're trying to do. So it's a free-for-all. You can ask whatever you like and I will do what I can to help you. So it's a nice supportive environment, as well as having access to all these lovely classes as well. But we also do cake painting on its own, which is a silver membership, which is £10 a month as well. So if you just want to do the horse, or you want to paint, we've got a guinea pig coming up, we've had lots of dogs, we've had the cavapoo or cockapoo, I can't remember what I put it down as, one or the other. Someone said to me the other day about my cookie cutters, oh, they really liked cockapoos, and I went, I don't really know what this is because I don't really have any of these dogs, but I know of them, but they all look the same to me. But anyway, I'm sure there's something more specific in it than that. But yes, there's that dog there as well. And Easter's approaching, of course. We have a spring painting class as well. There's 4 different projects in there, one that's possibly overlooked, but we'll be highlighting that one a bit more as we go through the year. So there we are. So we have got Mother's Day next weekend. So if anybody is doing any Mother's Day creations, we sold lots of these last week. I'm just going to bring these up again purely because it's next weekend. We need to send these out rapidly if anybody wants to have a go at doing these. We're going to leave the Cake School now and go to Let's Shop. There we go. So these are the Mother's Day discs that we have this year. So if anybody wants to have making any cupcakes, then they are available now. We also went through the Easter ones last week as well, and everybody was very excited about these because we sold lots of these as well. So we've got our classic bunnies. Everybody loves these. They are just the most loveliest thing ever. These are all on discs that you can just peel back. Let me show you an example down here. So you can peel them off like so and pop them on a little disc and pop them on your cupcakes, and they're nice and easy to peel off. If they're difficult to peel off, just pop them in your freezer for literally about 30 seconds and there you'll be absolutely fine. Then we have got this one, which is the smaller version of the burn cake, but you will have to cut these out yourself because no matter what I did, it refused to line up on the on the disc sheet. So I gave up in the end and said, right, I really want to do these, but you'll actually have to cut them out yourself. So this is on one big sheet, but it is a very sweet little Easter bunny. We've also got, what else have we got? The little rabbit with the babies. There they are. It's very sweet. It's got that little one there as well. And then finally, we've got the Easter bunny in the basket. So whatever you like, really. There's lots of different options there. Again, Easter and Mother's Day are very, very close together this year. They are right on top of each other within 2 weeks. So if you are thinking that you want to have a go at doing any of this stuff, you've got to get organised this year, which is, it sort of galloped towards us very, very quickly. So I'm letting you know now that if you want to do any of these things, you will need to crack on with it. That's what I'm trying to say. Now today I'm going to make, so it's my uncle's birthday this week, and it's nothing significant, it's not a significant birthday, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the to make some gardening cupcakes. So he's really into gardening, and gardening goes really well with Mother's Day as well. Lots of mothers enjoy gardens and flowers and all those kinds of things. So I'm basically going to have a go at doing some cupcakes, making a box for you to perhaps try and replicate. We're going to use some bits and pieces that we've got before, so you will have seen some of this stuff before, some of it you won't have seen before. And then hopefully you will be inspired and you will have a go yourself. I'm just checking I've actually put the stuff behind me. Well, it's like, you know, suddenly you have this blank moment. Have I actually got everything ready? Yes, I have. So we've got some cupcakes in. I've got a little box as well, and we're going to try and put some bits together today. So we're going to be using a few of the different moulds. An update on the moulds, I have now got Tiny Decorations back in stock. Oh my goodness, I'm so pleased about this because this is just the mould. There it is. I'm using it all the time. I used it last week and said, oh, I don't think we've got any more. We have now got some back in stock, which I'm absolutely thrilled about, thank goodness. So that is now back in, and the one we're looking at today is this one, which again I did highlight a couple of weeks ago, which is gardening tools. So if some of you bought gardening tools the other week, then I'm going to be really looking at this today so you can get a good idea as to what sort of thing you want to do with it. I'm going to leave that on screen just for 2 seconds, because I'm going to run around the other side and pick up what I forgot on this side, hopefully, she says. Where are we? I'm looking for a particular colour. I haven't got my assistant Kelly here with me, so I will rummage. Right, got it. There we go. So organised. Right, okay, so let's come back on screen. There we go. Enjoyed a long view of those while I organise myself. So we're going to have a look at these today. So I've got a whole selection of bits and pieces that I want to do. So I've got them all here on my board, and then hopefully it will work like magic, she says. So I've got to find somewhere to put anything, because of course there's no room up here at all. Right, let's start with a few little bits and pieces. We're going to start with the rabbit because we did do the rabbit last week and I know lots of people enjoyed it. So I'm going to put that onto one of his cupcakes as well. So we're going to work our way really slowly now through all these cakes. Okay, right. So we're going to start with the cupcake. We're going to put the rabbit, I'm going to put the rabbit in some mud, or should we leave that for the other one? I think we might leave that for the other one. We'll put that in later. So I've got some brown buttercream made there. Let's make up a little bit of green. I don't need loads today, but we're going to use my favourite colour, which is Colour Splash Leaf. I'll pop a little bit of colour in there. Now let's find, oh, I've just seen my ruler. How typical is that? It's just appeared. Of course it has. These things always appear at the wrong moments, don't they? But there we go. I've just seen it appear now. So that's good. I've got it back now. Right. Oh, and my palette knife as well. Wonderful. Okay, so we'll just give this a little bit of a mix to start with. Oh yeah, I was going to do this slightly differently. That's what I was going to do. So you know when you're double checking yourself, I've got notes on these cupcakes, but I keep changing my mind what I'm doing with them, so we'll do it slightly differently. I'm going to explain to you that I've done these without cookies. So I've made them just as cutters today, and I'll tell you what I've done as I go. So we've got a little bit of green in there. Okay, and a cupcake there. So we're getting started. Right, let's bring this into play. So we had these last week. There he is, the little Easter bunny, and we sold out really quickly. Now we've got more in stock now. I'm going to show you what we did with him. There's our little bunny and our little chick. Right, we sit down for a second. Okay, so there's our little bunny and our little chick. So these come in a set of 2. They come as a mini rabbit and chick bundle. Not the eggs, obviously, and please note they are mini eggs. It's very difficult for me to resist, but actually once they're on the cake, I'm okay with that. So we did these last week. I'm just going to replicate the little bunny again because he is so lovely and I particularly wanted him to be on this cake for my uncle. So I'm going to just run through this one again, but I just wanted to point out that this is in a set of 2. So if anybody would like those, they are now back in stock. I did manage to get some more made quickly, which was good. So we've knocked those back in now. We'll grab some piping bags. Okay. Right. Just cut the end off the piping bag. And we'll find ourselves Let's find a nozzle that we like. It doesn't really matter, to be perfectly honest, what we use. I tend to use a lot of Wilton 18. That seems to be my go-to nozzle. That's probably because I've got quite a lot of them in my box, really. I don't think it's anything more technical than that. A grass nozzle is good. We just sell Gem 233. That's quite a nice little nozzle as well. I've got one available. Let's have a little look and see if I can see one. But it's a grass nozzle. That's a nice one to use. Where have we got? You can hear me rummaging in the background here. What's that one? Nope, not that one. Okay, well, we'll use this one for now anyway. So this is a very, very similar equivalent to 18. So we're going to take hold of our adapter. I'm going to push that into the bag like so. Take hold of the nozzle, put that on top and just tighten that up. There we go. And then we'll be able to put a little bit of, just a bit of green buttercream in there. There we go. Pop that on there for a second. Pop that in. Don't need loads. I'm just going to pop that over there so it's out of the way. We can always make up a bit more if we need any more later. We might do. We'll see how we go. Because I wanted to do some kind of more earth type things there, so I want to mix it up a little bit today. I don't want it all to be green. I want some of it to be brown and mud like, I guess, as well. So let's bring this over here for a second. We'll pop you there, and then I'm just going to bring in my painting. So for those of you that know, I do lots of painting. This is my cocoa butter painting setup. So we have under here a little tea light that's lit, and this is my metal paint palette, which is hot because obviously the heat from underneath is making it hot. And the cocoa butter, I don't know if it's on the screen actually, there we go, the cocoa butter's here. And we just use it to mix with dusting colours so that we can make all sorts of different bits and pieces. Now I'm just going to, while that's melting and sorting itself out, I'm just going to take hold of a little bit of pink, which I'm just going to mix into this white actually. That's probably got a bit pale now, but that'll do, that's all right. Doesn't matter. Oh no, it does because it's too pale. Right, let me grab a little bit of pink. Maybe that's easier said than done. Let's look on the other side. I've got bags of sugar paste everywhere here. There we go. Perfect. That's better. I always find these cool colours when I need them. Let's get rid of that bit and we'll use this bit instead because it's already the right colour. So we'll give that a bit of a knead to get it going. Like so. And then we'll just do the rabbit's feet to start with. So this is a little repeat from last week for those that missed it. And then we'll move on to making the rest of the cupcakes. But I just wanted to go through this again because it was so lovely. So just going to roll a little bit out there. I use this Wilton 12 nozzle just to cut some basic shapes out. Nothing more than that. I don't normally cut things out with nozzles, but this is actually quite a handy nozzle for this. You don't actually need that much. And then I'm going to cut these in half. Let's just find a cutting wheel. That's a Dresden tool. No. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we're going to cut that in half. And we'll cut this into quarters. They get very tiny when they're little. Their little feet. And that's okay, we can manage this. This is just like a little trick for trying to get these equal. Because if you do it, you know, by eye, it's much more tricky, whereas this works really well. So I did this last time and everyone was like, whoa, I didn't think of doing it like that. So yeah, hopefully this will help some of you to get this equal. Right, let me just grab a little bit of water. I've moved to the other side of the room, of course. Right, and I can stick these down as I go. Right, okay, fingers crossed I haven't got any more brown on me. So these are the larger ones, the ones we just cut in half. So we'll give those a bit of a roll like so. Now these are made at Saraceno or modelling paste. So they are, you can see they're not moving. And I made these yesterday. If you're going to do a stand-up rabbit, it is easier to do them with something that's got a little bit of modelling paste in it, because then it doesn't actually sort of collapse. And that's the reason why We're using modelling paste for these. I'm just going to put a little bit of water on the back of his feet, take hold of one of these blobs and then just press it down. Same over there, so pop it in position and then press down. It's the easiest way to get things the right size. And then take some of these little tiny quarters and again just pop those in place. Probably easier just to put them straight on and then press them down. Just make sure you roll them first. It's stuck to my fingers. Can always get a scriber out if they start being naughty. There we go. I always roll 2 at a time as well, purely so it's quicker. Nothing more than that really. Okay, let's pop that in there. The other thing I meant to mention while I'm doing this as well, we do have lots of Easter chocolate moulds as well online. So if you are looking for, we've got rabbit wearing a jacket and we've got rabbits doing all sorts of different things. So there are lots of Easter moulds as well. So just don't forget they are on there as well. We do have some chocolate in stock. So again, if you want to make your own Eastery bits and pieces, we can help you with that as well. So let's pop that on. Ooh, there we go, nearly there. And then that one there. Right, now I'm just going to put my finger in a little bit of icing sugar to hopefully stop them sticking to me. And then I'm going to press down. See, that worked better, didn't it? There we go. How about that? That was easy, wasn't it? They're not sticking to me anymore. Right, so that's the back of the rabbit. The front of the rabbit, I made a little heart-shaped nose. So all I did there was take hold of this again and just cut one of these out and then just rolled it into a ball. This is just to make things even, nothing more than that really. So roll that into a ball and then I flattened it and then I pinched it to a point and then took hold of my Dresden tool and just marked it in the centre so it changed into a little tiny heart. For those of you that think that might be too much for them, if you look very carefully on tiny decorations, there is a little heart on that mould. So if you already have this mould or you want to get it, there is a little heart on there if you want to make the rabbit's nose out of that. In that case, all you're going to do is literally press it in. There you go, and then it's straight out. Look, I've made it the exact size. So that's what you would do for that. And then we'll just take this again, just put a little blob. You don't have to give the rabbit a heart-shaped nose, but I think it's quite sweet. So we'll pop that on there like so. Then we're going to paint the eyes, which we need to do with a 0 because last time I tried to do it with a number 1, it was too big. So we sell paintbrushes online, they are all numbered. So we have a 0, we have number 1, number 2, number 3 and a 0, 0. And these are all brushes that I teach with online. So you'll hear me talking about them when I'm teaching. Let's try and find, I've picked up a 6, I don't know where that's come from. Obviously I must have had that a few years ago. Let's try this one. Right, so we use lots of different brushes. I'm just going to use my cocoa butter here. Just check there's nothing in my brush before I start, just by popping it in there. There we go. And then what we'll do is we'll grab some black, but we'll put a little bit of white in it, just so it's not completely black. And then we'll take our brush and we'll just paint this in here. Now, if you don't do painting or you don't have access to any paints, you can use a little pen. In fact, what I'll do is I'll do a slightly different one from last week. So yeah, you can use a little tiny pen, an edible pen, which we do have on the website. So if you want to do that instead, you can. You can also use a little bit of sugar paste. So if you've got some black sugar paste that you want to just kind of roll up and put on there, you can. So if you want to just use a little ball of sugar paste, you can do that. So there are different things you can do. You don't have to paint like I paint. It's just I like painting and I have lots of painting things around. So for me, it's an easy thing. I just turn on the old tea light and I'm there. Right, let's paint this little bit here as well. That just helps define the ears so that we can see where they start and where they end. There we go, like so. All right. And then, oh yeah, we're going to do a little mouth at the bottom. We'll do a little tiny mouth here. And we'll make him a smiley bunny. Of course we'll make him a smiley bunny. Why wouldn't we? Well, I'm just going to go back and sort his eyes out a little bit. Just put a bit more black in the centre there. Turn it round this way. A little bit fiddly, but it's fine. We'll get there. We just don't breathe during this bit. Breathing optional. All right. Okay. So while I've got a few more of you on here now, just going to mention what I said at the beginning is that I've been going through YouTube this week. If you go into the live section of my YouTube account, all the let shops are in there that have taken place, and very slowly I'm going through them and I am replacing the front images with images of what we actually did on that live to try and help you find, if you've bought a particular cookie cutter, you can actually find the live that I did it on, and hopefully that will help some of you to actually be able to carry on with what you're doing. Right, let's just do the tail here. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to do it slightly differently today. I'm going to just take a little bit of sugar paste. Running out of voice already. Let's grab a little bit of sugar paste. I'm going to use this for the body as well, so I'm just going to give that a knead. We talked about using a marshmallow instead for his body if you wanted to, so if you fancied doing a marshmallow body, you could. Just give that a little bit of a knead. Always give your sugar paste a bit of a knead before you start, because then you know that it's going to be easy to use. Let's put that up there for a second. Give that a bit of a knead there, and then what we'll do is we'll just nip a little bit off the end there for our tail. Again, just put a little bit of water on the ends like so, just a bit of something for it to cling on to. You can use the cookie cutter to get the right shape if you want to. You can sort of put the paste in like so and press it down, but you can also just press it down and just manipulate it with a tool. So I'm going to just take this, hold on tight to it, and just basically just stab it a little bit with this tool, this Dresden tool, and that will just give it a more fluffy effect there. But make sure you go right to the top, because obviously you're going to be able to see the top of it. So make sure you, if I hold it up like that, you kind of wrap it around the top bit, because you don't really want to see it, a join of any description. So just make sure you do that as well. Okay, see, that's nice and fluffy and easy, isn't it? Very straightforward to do. Now what I want to do is I want to give my rabbit a little white in his eyes, so we use these, which are called dotting tools. They're actually used for nail art, but they are super good for making little tiny round dots without using paintbrushes, because it can often be quite tricky trying to use a paintbrush, whereas these are like magic. So I put a little white in his eyes there we go, in his eye, and that just then brings it to life. And we'll also put a little dot on his nose as well. It just acts as like a little white sort of highlight. There we go, you can see him there. Right, okay, so we've done that bit. Now we're going to take hold of this bit we've got left. So I'm going to give this a roll for the moment. I'm not actually sure what size it is, but we'll roll it anyway. Now I made some cake versions of these on TikTok, so if you want to see how to make them out of cakes, then go to TikTok. If you want to make them as little models like I'm doing now, then obviously you've got this video here to watch. So we'll make a smaller body there. So that's it, that's all it is. It's nothing particularly complicated, it's just a little roll there. Right, let's grab a cake. I did have a cake earlier, didn't I? There it is. I'll move you out of the way. Right, so what are we going to do? We are going to do, because this is a gardening theme, I'm going to try and do some of this in brown to represent the kind of mud of the garden, I guess. I don't want to do it all green today. I'm going to do some of it in brown and some of it in green. So this is just Colour Splash Brown. There we go. And we'll pop that on the cake there. Now, I have got what is the equivalent of mud for us to use, and that is Oreos. Oreos are really good for creating mud. They also make a horrendous mess, which I am now starting to deeply regret, but I'll put that there anyway. For why would I do this? But I kind of need this to work for this, so I'm going to do it anyway. So you're just going to take out your Oreos and just empty some out. I don't need very many. Let's just take 3 out. Luckily, I'm not a massive fan of these, so I'm highly unlikely to eat these, unlike the mini egg fiasco last week. In that case, I'm 100% into mini eggs, which is not good. Right, let me find a knife. Let's see what I've got. Oh, I moved one this morning. Let me get that one. I only moved it because I accidentally hurt myself with it this morning. Right, okay, let's put that out there. So I've got to try and protect what I've got here now. So you're going to take these apart, pop one in there, and then you're going to take this bit out here. So just use your knife just to remove that part there. Don't worry about any excess that's there, just that's okay. So you'll get 1/2. Oh no, that one typically split, didn't it? Of course it did. Okay, so just take that out. Try not to make a mess here, but I think I'm on a loser here. Right, put that in there. Same again. Take that one out. So I suppose depending on what colour earth you want, you can use different biscuits. I'm going to use Oreos this morning. Put those in there. One more. Don't need very many because it goes everywhere. Right, let's put the knife out the way and all the mess that I've made. Oh, we're clearing that up in a second. Right, let's move those out the way, so I don't really want brown all over those at this stage. Luckily, I only have to do this once. And then we're literally going to take hold of a rolling pin and we're going to just squash them. So you can do whatever you want in order to be able to squash them. You can put them through a blender if you want, but to be perfectly honest, in a bag, just rolling them up and down, also massively therapeutic. Bad day, go and crush some Oreos and sprinkle them on your ice cream. So just, oh, that went flying in, let me grab that. Okay. There we go. Just give those a little bit of a squash. I think we're nearly there. Now then, I've got to work out a way of not getting in too much of a muddle with this, so let's see what we can come up with. Right, so I'm going to, that's my bag of earth, so I've got that, I'm going to pop that on there. I'm going to try and contain this. Let's get a green board. Right, let me grab this. Oh, there's another one over there, let me grab that. And we're going to have a messy board that I can actually remove stuff from. There we go. And then every time we do the earth, we can keep it on here. That sounds like a plan, doesn't it? Right, now, where's that spoon I had? Okay. The earth looks nice like that, but I quite like it to be a bit more textured. So this is where the Oreos come in. So I'm just going to grab a teaspoon of this and I'm going to just pop it onto my brown buttercream like so. I'm going to try and make sure it's pressed down, because if I don't, when I come to put these into the cupcake box, they're likely to shed all over the place. It's a bit like putting sprinkles and glitter on things, except this is brown. So you can see it creates a really nice texture. So that is a really good tip for making earth if you want to on a cake. Now I've just got to try and control the mess now. Okay, so we're going to take, actually we'll leave that on there, and we're going to pipe the back end of this cupcake, and we're just going to pipe that with some green. So we're just going to literally do exactly what I've just said. So half and half, or 3/4 and half. Now the only thing you'll have to watch with this is when you put Oreos onto buttercream, it means it's not so sticky anymore. So when you go to stick your rabbit on, you're probably going to need to help it a little bit by, although it will actually attach to that, so you should be okay, but you might need to put a bit of extra buttercream on there. So we're going to put the rabbit looking at the, ready to dig up my uncle's my uncle's garden. I'm laughing because I can hear him over the ears going, no, that rabbit's back. So we'll put a little bit of royal icing on the back of, that is a little bit of royal icing. Let's see if we can get a tiny bit more out of there. A little bit of royal icing on the back of there. There we go, pop you on there. Okay, I'll tip that forward so you can see that for a minute, so you can see what's going on. And then we'll do the same with the back. We'll turn that round. And actually, although the buttercream's there, I'll put a little bit of royal icing on there just to hold that in place. And note, I'm putting the royal icing right down at the bottom because otherwise you'll see it if you do it at the top. So be careful. And then we'll squash that together. I'm going to tip the rabbit so when he looks in the cupcake box, he's looking up a bit. Because don't forget, when you look down on a cupcake box, you're looking down that way. And I'd like him to be looking up. So I am going to tip this rabbit backwards, which is what I didn't do with the other one. All right, I'm going to tip, actually I need to tip his bottom back a bit as well. All right, so when you're looking over the top of him, you'll be able to see his little face. There we go. And then if you want to pipe any more green around him, there you go, you can see him, just to hold him in place, we'll just put a little bit of extra green down there. I think it looks very much like flower beds, doesn't it? It's about to come in and destroy what he shouldn't be destroying. Right, and put a little bit more green around the back of him, just hold him in place there. There we go. All right, we've got our bunny. There we go. That's part of our... So there we go. So we did this one last week. So this is the Easter bunny one, and this is the one with the bunny that's in the garden. Okay, there we go. All right, so that's slightly different there. So this one is going to be doing a bit more telling of him being in the garden and being a bit what he shouldn't be doing. And this one is about the Easter bunny. So there we go. I've used slightly different size balls on the back there as well. But I just wanted to tip him back a bit, purely because he's going to be in a cupcake box. And in order to be able to get the benefit of seeing his face, he needs to be tipped forward. So I think that works now. I'm just looking at it over the top and I think it's going to be fine. Okay, so there we go. So that's the little bunny. So he has got, he comes in a set of 3 cutters. So it's the rabbit's head, its back, and also the little mini chick as well that I showed you last week. So if you want to make any little Easter treats, then these cookie cutters are available now. Right, so he's part 1. So we'll move him out of the way. We've got him done. Let's move these 2 out of the way as well, and then we will get ready to do the next one. So I'm going to just move my tray that contains the crumbs and try and contain the mess, she says, over the next half an hour or so. I'm just going to put a little bit of water on here just to get rid of anything. Hopefully that will stick to it. Yeah, there we go, that's better. I can't stand working in a complete mess, so there we go. There we go. Right, so let's make something else for the garden. So the next thing I thought I'd make for his garden is a garden gnome. So again, don't forget we're doing cupcakes. So we've got our little cupcake size garden gnome here. So we'll have seen him from Christmas. For those of you that follow me all year round, you will note you've seen him before. So we're going to make a garden gnome because that seems quite relevant, I think. So all we're going to do, now what I've done here, I'm going to explain what I've done here because I've not made this as a cookie, I've made this as a cake topper. So yesterday I cut out some Saraceno, some white Saraceno, and it's dried. So it's going to stand up, or not stand up, but it's going to be flat and it's not going to bend over when it goes onto the cupcake. So I'm going to kind of stick the items onto this particular piece of sugar paste. You could probably get away with it, but if I'm trying to cut pieces out, I do need one stable base. So if you don't have time to do cookies and you want to just do a topper instead, then that's what I'm recommending that you do, is that you just cut yourself out a little piece of modelling paste first and use it that way. Right, let's pop this on here. Put a little bit of icing sugar down there so it doesn't stick. We'll take our cookie cutter and we'll press down and give it a wiggle. Like so. Take that off, flip it over, press the back of it where the top of the hat is, because that's the bit we're interested in, and then turn it back. There we go. Our little gnome there. So gnome wise, we do large gnomes and we do small gnomes, or mini gnomes, and large gnomes. There's 2 different sizes, so just be careful which one it is that you pick, because you don't want to end up with the wrong size. That'll be a bit of a problem for you if you do. Right, now I'm just going to wash my hands because the red is quite strong. I'll tell you what I'll do before I do that. I'm going to stick this down, then I won't have to handle it again. So I'm just going to take hold of a bit of water on there, and I'm just going to pop that on, line that up. It will just be acting as something to hold that in place. Okay, right, quickly, actually I've got a cloth here, let me just wipe my hands this way. Just want to get that red off, otherwise I'll have red on everything. It does travel, as does gel. I'm sure some of you are finding out that gel is the worst. Gel is everywhere. No matter what you do, there is gel on things. Right, where's my cutter gone? There he is. And so what we're going to do, we're going to give him a green base. So he's going to have a green lower half. So he definitely looks like a garden gnome. And we'll like it to be a bit darker actually. Let's get a bit more colour splash going in here. It a little bit, probably gone too mad now. Well, let's see what that does. Just want it to be that kind of traditional garden gnome colour, so I think this will work a little bit better if it's a bit darker. It's meant to blend, isn't it? That's the point, I think. Is that the point of garden gnomes, maybe? I don't know. I think they're quite British things, aren't they? They always make me laugh, but can't get any in our garden because my husband would find out. So I would be putting them everywhere. Right, let's roll this thing out. Pop that on. So we're only interested in the lower half of the cutter here, so we'll just cut that out, turn it over, press down, get the markings out. It back. There we go. And then we'll just take that bit off there. That's the only bit we need to worry about. And then we'll join those 2 together. So we'll get our water back out again. Okay, pop that in there. And there he is. He's starting to look marginally more garden gnome-esque. Right, let's give him a little pink nose. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of water on there. I've got a little bit of that pink we used a minute ago for the rabbit's feet. So I'm just going to roll a ball and just pop that over the top like so. I'd like him to have black shoes really, so we're going to just do some little black shoes. See if we can, there we go, got a little tiny bit of black there. Because I've been doing all these different cookie cutters over the last few weeks, I've got lots of pre-made colours, which is lovely. That never happens, but it is today, I like. And then we'll put a little bit of water there. A little bit of water there. And we'll pop that on. So I'm just making those sort of kind of ovally shape. There you go. What are we going to do next? We're going to pipe his beard. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to use piping nozzle number 2. We don't want it to be too thick. And we're going to start in the middle. So we're going to pipe a line straight down the middle. And then come down here and just follow the line going all the way up here. I'm going to say that I did actually see a garden gnome dressed up as a Easter bunny the other day, so if you want to do these as Easter ones, I think you just need to attach some ears, literally. Just These gnomes gonks seem to be around all year, don't they? So if you want to change it to an Easter version, then just put some, there you go. That's them. And then I think what we'll do is we'll just roll a couple of little green. Do we want a couple of little green arms maybe? I don't know. Yeah, we'll just put just a couple of bits at the bottom there just to make it look a bit more 3D, I think. A bit of water on there. And then we'll pop those on there. Okay. There you go, looks a bit more 3D now, don't you? Right, let's do his hat. So I'm going to bring in my cocoa butter painting. I'm going to get my paintbrushes out. I'm going to go down to paintbrush number 1. I'm just going to make sure there's no other colour in it. There is black in there at the moment, which is no good to me at all. I need to get rid of that because I will need to be using clear or white. So I've got some white here. Let's mix up a little bit more. And then what I thought I'd do is I'm just going to paint a stripe, I guess, going across his hat. So we'll just take our brush and we'll just very carefully just go straight across. And then we'll do it again. There's all sorts of different designs of these. You've only got to go online and to Google and put in gonks and you'll just get so much inspiration in there. There's just absolutely tons of them. So take your pick. You could pipe these if you don't want to paint. So if you're thinking, oh, I don't want to be doing that, then you can just pipe them. A little white line there, that'd be easy, wouldn't it? Do that. The line went a bit thin then. Mind you, looks like he's got his pyjamas on. I'm going to just turn it slightly as well there at the end, just so that it looks like it's kind of moving with his hat. And then I'm going to get my dotting tool back again, if I can find it. There it is. Find everything today so far. And then we'll just take hold of this little, and we'll just put a few dots on him. On his hat. Don't know whether we'll do every one or every other one. I'll try every one for every other first before I commit to every one. I think that's probably going to be enough actually. Yeah, I think that's enough. And then we've got our little gonk there that we can then use to put on our cake. So we've made it as a cake topper. So remember, there's no cookie underneath this. All I've done is cut out a piece of modelling paste that I left the night before. So that's gone hard. So that is now been built on that instead of a cookie. There's no reason why you can't do a cookie. It's just sometimes there isn't enough time to do one, or maybe you don't want a cookie on top of a cupcake. So I was just trying to make it a little bit more, you know, flexible for you. So if you didn't want to always make cookies, you can still use them as cupcake toppers. Right, okay, let's bring our messy tray back in again. Now let's put a bit more of this brown in place. Get ready for the mess, everybody. I'll put some on there. Put a bit more on this time maybe, I don't know, that'll do. Quite like the combo really. Oh, thank you for whoever's putting those links up for me. I don't mind, honestly. I think most people are hopefully worked out. You just go to Let's Shop and have a look on there, but thank you anyway. Right, we'll just press that down. There we go. Right, let's turn that around. And then we'll get our green out again. Where's my green bag gone? There it is. Move the icing down. And then we'll just put a bit of grass in place. I didn't do the other one, is put some sprinkles on it. So if you want to put little flowers in place or little sprinkles, that sort of breaks it up as well. Okay.
with him, what should we do with him? We'll just pop him straight on like that. And again, he'll be tilted just slightly. I think the buttercream's going to hold him in place, but I'm going to put an extra wodge in there anyway, just to make sure he's not going anywhere. Let's build a bit of grass up behind him if you're struggling with him at all. There we go. So I've got a little garden gnome in position there. Like so. And again, you can always add little flowers or bits and pieces if you want to. You know, if you want to sort of put, I'm going to put a few little white perels behind there, just a few. I didn't on the other one, but you can if you want to. It's up to you. So there we go. There's our little gardening. There we go. It's our little gardening gnome. So you see, looks, gnomes are not just for Christmas, they're also for gardens as well. So that's our little garden gnome as well, with garden gnome colours, very traditional colours, green and red, with little black shoes. That's what they seem to be anyway. So that's our second cupcake. So we're making good progress now. So we'll move that one out of the way and put him with the rabbit. And then we'll move on to our third one. So our third one, we're going to look at the watering can again. So I've got my watering can back again. So we've got watering can cookie cutters. They are in sets. So we've got large and small, or large and cupcake size. This is the mini one. There it is, which I again cut out yesterday, yesterday with a bit of modelling paste. But I'm now I'm not going to cut, or am I? Yeah, no, I will cut out another bit to go on top of it. Let me do that. So I'm going to make this one a bit more sort of stainless steel, grey type colours, I think. A bit more traditional gardening. So I've got a little bit of white here, and I'm just going to mix some black into it to make a nice sort of grey colour. I don't need huge amounts, just tiny little bit here. So this is my white, also with a hint of Oreo. Grab a tiny little speck of black and just mix that through. So I don't want it to be too dark. I want to kind of go for that real traditional garden look, stainless steel, that sort of look really. And we'll give that a bit of a mix through. I'm going to maybe slightly overpaint it as well, so see how we go. You know me, it's a job to resist not painting anything. The reason being is because it just looks so nice, and that's why I do it. I don't do it for any other reason other than it just takes it to the next level, I think. It's a bit sticky at the moment. I'll get that moving. Okay, so that's quite a nice grey colour. It's not too strong. I'm going to actually put this on here just to make sure I can get this off, put that on. So we want to get the lower half of this in, so we need all of that except that piece there. That's the only piece we don't need. So we'll press down, give it a wiggle, flip it over, take those bits out, press down, find the handle part, 'cause that's there, we need that marked in, the spout's up there, flip it back. I think my candle's gone out because it's smoking over this side. Yeah, it has. That's okay, we can deal with that. There we go. Well, I think we've got a bit of cookie cutter in there. Yeah, we have. I'm going to take that bit out. Right, let me just cut that out again. I've got a tiny bit of colour in there from last week. Despite me washing it, it's still stuck in there. Right, let's do that again. There we go. It's sticky. I think that's not helping me either. There we go. We'll get there. All right. Put this back on again. Press down. Bit of a wiggle. Turn it over. Get that handle at the back there. Got it. Getting stuck down the spout this morning. There we go, we're out. I'm going to take that part out. We're not going to bother to try and get the handle out. We're going to just paint that bit in, otherwise it'll be taking us forever. I don't really want to have to do that. So I'll put those on there now. Take hold of my water. We'll paint this bit here. And we'll pop that on. There we go. Like so. So what can we do to this? Of course, my brain immediately goes, right. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to line that back bit with green because I think that might look quite nice when we then put the flowers on. So I'm actually going to roll out a piece of green to go there. Might do it, might not, but I've got the feeling it will. So we'll run with it. If I'm wrong, we'll take it off. And then we'll just pop that on there and cut that top piece out instead. Flip it over, press down, flip it back. I'm going to take that out. Just cut that little edge off there. And then we'll pop that on. Water. So the rolling pin keeps coming towards me. There you go, we'll pop that there for a minute and then we'll put some flowers on it. Let's go back to the rest of the watering can. So I've got here, my paintbrush has got some white on it, so I'm just going to leave that white on it and grab a little bit of the grey. So that should make it a nice pale grey colour, which it is. Except I need to change that candle, don't I? Let me do that. So when the candle goes out, the metal paint palette gets cold, which means the cocoa butter starts to set again. So we have to remove the old candle and we have to light a new one. Pop that in under there. Pop that one in the bin. There we go. Find my clicker, which was here a minute ago. There it is. Relight this. And then we'll pop that back on there. And then the cocoa butter then will stay hot and liquid. The minute you take the heat away from it, it will start to set. And that's what we don't want. And that's why we've done it. Like so. There we go. You can tell when it's getting cold because when you try to paint with it, it gets really thick and horrible. So, and I could just detect it was getting that way. So let's have a look at this. So we're going to use a dry brush as well. We use paintbrush number 3. That's paintbrush 3. It's got no cocoa butter on it at all. What we'll do is we'll just take hold of some of this colour and we'll just pull that around. I need a bit more cocoa butter in there. We'll just dab it along there. This grey colour. And we'll just take hold of this and we'll just try and pull this across. Make it a little bit more rustic. A bit more good old stainless steel watering can. Just like what my uncle has. And we'll paint up here a little bit as well. Just down the side. Around the outside edge. So we painted these a couple of weeks ago and we did some with flowers on, we did some with dots on, which I'll show you at the end so you can remind yourself what they look like. I'm just making this a little bit darker at the bottom there. Okay, just blending that in and then we'll make the handle a bit darker, or the inside of the handle, so you can see that clearly. Get that right in there. And just use that brush to get rid of any excess. Like that. There we go. Rustic. Where are we? Right, we are going. What colours should we have? Why don't we have lilac and maybe blue? Why not? Let's go lilac and blue. Try and go for slightly different colours. Let's try these anyway, see what they look like. If they look rubbish, we'll try something else, won't we? So this is violet and Colour Splash navy. Well, that's got a bit of red in it, so I'm just getting rid of that. Do I want these colours? I don't know, maybe red might be better. I'll tell you why I'm now changing to red is because I've got red in the, yeah, let's do red. I've got red in the garden gnome, so therefore it'll all start tying together. And I've talked about this in the past, where if you start putting colours across the whole cupcake display, it makes a bit more sense. So having red definitely makes sense. So let's do red. Don't need those other colours, we'll go red, full red. And then we'll roll that out. Don't need very many either. And then we've got some little tiny flowers. We've got these little tiny ones here. These are like little PME cutters. We've also got these little daisy ones. We don't sell these, or we certainly haven't got any at the moment. But they're quite easy to have, and lots of people just have them anyway. And because this is a mini, we don't need the cutters to be that big either. So, but another thing we could do, let's see if this will work. You can always roll this as well, and you could make a rolled rose. So you could just take hold of this and roll it like so. It's a little bit fiddly. If I cut it there. So you can make little rolled roses that go on here. You have to glue them down well. Let me get my royal icing. I don't think the water's going to be strong enough for this. And my scriber, because it always feels like your hands have suddenly grown in size whenever you try and do anything tiny. I just put my scriber in the middle of that, you see, and then I won't have to touch it. And I can put that on there like that. So we could do little tiny ribbon roses. They don't actually take that long to do, and then we could fill it with some white roses, couldn't we? So if we just take that, so cut a little strip and then just roll it up like so. Make that one a bit bigger, shall I? There you go. Pop that on there like that. That one stuck really well, that was easy. And then we'll do this one. I'll do another one. Well, let's do 3, and then we'll fill the rest of it with white flowers maybe or something. Again, just roll it. And pop that on there. Get my scriber just to move it into position. You can tip them as well, they don't all have to be facing the same way. See, I think that's quite nice. And let's get some white, or maybe pink. Oh, let's go pink actually. Red and pink is such a nice colour combo. I'm going to put a little bit more red in this pink though, because it's not as pink as I want it to be. I'll mix a bit of red in there, it will go a bit more salmon-y colour. There we go, that's better. And we'll put some little pink ones in there as well. I'm not massively keen on red and white, but I think red and pink is much nicer. Right, there we go, that's better. A little bit of icing sugar again. And then we'll grab this cutter here. I should have some space around there. Oh, I ended up with a double one there. How did that happen? Let's get that out. It's very nice, but I didn't plan that. Right, let's roll this a bit. Gee, that is quite a nice idea. That is a good idea. Interesting. My brain's just gone into overdrive. Right, let's get some white out as well. Let's see if we can do some double ones. We'll do white and pink. How about that? Let's try and do something flash. This will either work or it won't work. So let's do white and pink together. Make them a bit chunky. So I think we just need to make sure these are quite thin. Otherwise you're going to have extremely chunky flowers. Let's put one on top of the other. Let's see if we get what we get. It's like roulette here. It's even more roulette that my little cookie cut is just there. It is. Run off the table. Oh, this is the bigger version. Okay, well that's all right. So we'll press down, and then we'll press that in there. Now it's got a white back to it. Let's turn it the other way round. like to be able to see both sides really. That would be good, wouldn't it? Let's hook that out for a second. I'm fiddling now. This is never good. Don't start me on things because I won't be able to stop. Right, let's try that. Oh yeah, look, getting a pink round the outside edge. That worked. Superb. So white on the outside. Roll them together so they go down a bit thinner. I think they'll stand out more when we do the ones around the side. Yeah. I'll hold it up in a minute and you'll be able to see it. You're going to fall off, aren't you? I can feel it. And then what we can do, let's take our icing and we'll pipe some little quite like that. That worked. Turn that around and then we'll just pipe some little dots that just have that coming down the, like a little gypsophilia, something like that maybe. Listen here, I'm under pressure here to do, mine was a gardener, I used to be a gardener, so I'll be marked for this, you see. Right, let me put this on the plastic side. No, I'll hold it actually rather than put it on that. Let's see if we can pick that up. Right, can you see the backs of these flowers now? Not to see if I hold it really straight, but you can see just around the outside edge there, it's very, very pale pink and it looks really nice. It's a really lovely effect actually. If you look at it even on this side, you can see that you've got a two-tone flower going on there without it actually being sort of too tricky to do. So that's good, that's worked all right. Okay, so we've got our little watering can, so let's get our brown going again. We'll put a bit more brown on here. Now we continue this little theme. Then we've got one more to do after this, and then we can put them all in the box together. Let's see if they then make sense. Let's bring our messy play back in again. And our spoon. That on there. That's fine. I don't need to do more than that. Turn it around. Get our green going again. We're getting a bit short of green. We're just about managing at the moment. Okay, there we go. And then we'll take the watering can and we'll just, again, just tip it slightly. I'll just put a little bit of green under there. I'll tip it. A bit more under there. There we go. Okay. You can see the back of those flowers, I know it. You see? I plan all this stuff, you know, and then only when I go live I start going, oh, I could do that. Oh, I could do that. And then it's very distracting. And then after a period of time, I realise I've done so much other stuff that I had no idea I was going to be doing when I went on the live. I'm just making this a little bit darker, just so it stands out a little bit better. And then it's just an edible topper. You see, there's no cookie underneath it. It's just got a piece of modelling paste under there. Let's put a few little sprinkles on as well, only because I'm obsessed with them. Okay, maybe a tiny bit more on that other side. Let's just use a little bit of what I've got here. Perfect, there we go. How about that? So there's another one. Lovely, we're winning now, aren't we? Right, so we've got one more to go. That's the watering can. So the watering can is a set of two. There's the mini and then there's the large one as well, which is normally about 7 centimetres. They come in a set of two. So if you want to have a go at making watering can toppers, that's what you're going to need to do it. And it's not too tricky to do, as you can see. Pick yourself some little flowers, make them two-tone like I've just done. Unplanned, of course.
we'll run with that. Right, let's move those out of the way. I'm looking at my set of what I've got over here now to see if I'm happy with it, which I pretty much am. And then we're going to bring in this mould here, which is covered in Oreos, but that's not the point. This one here, which is called gardening tools. So gardening tools, we've had this before. Some of you may or may not already have this. Just clearing up a little bit so it doesn't look too chaotic. And we have got, we're going to, or I have made already, some of the little implements that are on the, just finding a way to paint this without getting in a muddle. Let me just swap things around over here a second. There we go. Right. Okay. So I want you to be able to see this on screen. I don't think you'll be able to see it if I put it on the white, on the pink, so I'm going to bring this in instead. There we go. Right, so I've made these little implements, excuse me, I'm losing my voice now, from this mould, and I've used Saraceno in order to be able to do it. Sorry, it has got Oreos in it now. I think everything's got Oreos in it. They're nice and easy to use. I've made them with Saraceno, so I've done those in advance, and I've done them all in white, and I'm going to paint them. So in order to make them, they're very easy to do. You're literally going to spread the modelling paste into the mould, scrape it across with a plastic side scraper, release it and tip it out, and it will come out. They're really nice to do, and if you make them in advance like I've done, they set really nice and hard, and then you can paint them and put them onto your cake. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to have a little paint. So we're going to think a little bit about what we've got here. So we're going to do anything that's metal, we're going to do in a very light grey colour. So we're going to paint all three at the same time. Let's get a bit more white going in there because we don't want it to be too dark. Okay, so let's see what that comes out at. That's okay. So the secateurs here, we'll just paint the end of those grey, like so. There's a little spring and a little, I guess it must be a little screw that's holding it all together maybe, so we'll paint that bit as well. There's also a little one there, and then there's some lines there, so we can just paint those across like that. I love the detail of this, these moulds. It's amazing. It is actually amazing. And let's go up there and across there, because don't forget you can see it from all angles. You've got to be a little bit more careful there. So that's that bit. Now let's look at the trowel. So in theory, the bit that would be the metal bit would be this bit, so we're going to paint that. I'm just going to put a little bit more white in there, just make it a bit more silver colour maybe. If you've got a colour called fine silver, which is a sugar and crumbs colour, you could use that, but it's a tiny bit glittery. That's the only thing I would say. I'm not quite sure whether your garden implements would be quite as glittery as the fine silver is, which is why a mix of sort of black and grey works quite well with something like this, because you are getting a little bit closer to maybe what reality is. And I am trying to do a box that actually looks like it belongs to a gardener rather than, or something you could do for, as I say, the idea behind this was to do something you could do for maybe Mother's Day if you've got a mum who likes gardening, or just anybody who likes gardening. Loads of people love gardening in this area. They're obsessed with it. Everybody's got garden centres everywhere. I don't know what it's like where you are, but my God, there's a garden centre every 2 miles here. I'll just make that a little bit lighter. And then we'll bring the fork in as well. Grab a bit of more of this. And then we'll just paint that in there. So I've used this mould as a business for a very long time, and I've used it many, many times. So it's one of those key ones. It's a bit like tiny decorations. I'm always going on about tiny decorations and how lovely it is. And you only need one of them. Once you've got it, it's very unusual to be making cakes and not someone to want to do something to do with gardening. It's really unusual. And these are kind of quite nice cupcake sizes. I don't know whether I'm going to use all 3 yet, but I thought I'll do 3 anyway, and then we can make a decision from there, can't we?
So that's where that bit goes up to there. I'm just going to tip that on its side just to make sure I get those bits there. Just need to be a little bit careful because obviously it's still a little bit soft. I don't want to be, there we go, put that down there like that. So if you remember, our theme today was red and green, so we really need to reflect that in the rest of these decorations. So what we'll do is we've got here, I think this is moss green, she says. It might be. It looks like it is. So what we'll do is we'll use that. Let's do that for this handle colour. And we'll just come across there. And we'll make that. It's going to look like he's got a set, you see. He's been to the garden centre and bought himself a new set of implements. Gardening equipment. Okay, so a little bit of moss green. Moss green, I think, is a really nice colour for painting gardening type things. Now I've left a gap there because there is a gap there, and I'm going to come back and paint that in a second. You'll see it on the mould anyway, and I'm going to do exactly the same with this one. Actually, no, this one I'm going to do slightly differently. Ignore what I just said. Just take no notice of me. Oh no, I will. Talk about change my mind on a live, honestly. Still, we're not trying to follow anything, are we? We're just basically making it up as we go along, which is exactly what makes the best cake sometimes. I'll paint that along there like so. So I've left there's another gap there. You'll see there's two gaps there and a gap there. And then with these as well, what we'll do here, let's have a little look at this. There is a mark there. We will paint these green. Actually, sometimes when you paint things, you can see where there's more detail, because again, it just brings it out. You can see there's a bit more detail in there. And we'll take these down to almost the bottom, but not quite. So we'll take them down to about sort of there, maybe, and stop there. Let's turn these round. Go this way. That way, under there, because don't forget on the side you can still see it, so you're going to have to pick it up. We would paint carefully down the side. Well, I'm probably picking it up so you can see it. I think if I was doing this on my own, I probably wouldn't. Ooh. There. You can make these in advance as well. So if you know you've got a cake coming and you think, oh yeah, I'm going to do gardening, whatever, you can make all these in advance. So this is a sort of sit on Sunday afternoon and put things together type thing. This is what I would do anyway. I'd get these all ready, and then when the week's underway and I'm busy doing my cake, once I've actually put the cake together, I've only got to grab these little bits that I've enjoyed painting because I wasn't under pressure to do them, and then I can just pop them onto my cake. So I often find it's nicer to do the decorations in advance so that you're not feeling like you're panicking when you're putting things together, because you can feel like that. I feel like that, so I'm sure you must as well. Okay, there we go. So we've got three different. I'm just going to paint that a bit darker. That first one was quite dark, so let's make those a bit darker as well. But I don't actually want them to be too flat in colour. I'm actually quite happy that they're a little bit streaky, because that kind of is a bit more representative of where in the garden, I guess. Right, let's just clean my brush up, and then we'll just switch to red. So we've got red going on, haven't we? Do you remember? We've got the garden gnome who's red and green. We've got the watering can with red in it. So I thought what we would do is literally just paint that bit there red. So we don't want it to be too red, but it would be nice to have a bit of red in there. So I'll paint that in there. I don't know, to me that looks a bit, I think that looks really nice. brightens them up a little bit. Don't you think? I think that looks really nice when it's like that. And then I was going to paint the end of these, but I wasn't too sure what that was going to look like. So I'm going to do it, and then if I don't like it, I'm just going to paint straight over the top of it. I just don't think I want to paint down quite as far as I've allowed, so I'm just going to cut back a little bit. Actually, it looks quite nice with a little bit of a break between the colours, so maybe I'll leave it like that. I think so. I think it definitely makes quite a bit of difference with that. So once you've done that, you can then just tidy up anything else. So if you feel like you need to add any more colours or anything to it, you can, but I think I'm quite happy with those. Might just put a little bit, I've got a tiny bit of mist grey around there and a little bit across there, so I'm just going to finish those off and we're done. Right, let's get another cupcake. Here we go. So this is our last cupcake for this set. Get a bit more brown going again. Here we go again. Here we go again. All right, might put a bit more brown on this one for two reasons. One, maybe this is a bit more kind of digging and earth type one, but also I'm getting quite low on green, so I might as well try and put a bit of extra brown on there. Right, where's my messy tray? Here we go. Right, messy tray back again. Cupcake in. Put those over there for a second. Bring these in. And then we'll just sprinkle that on. Got a big lump of one there, but actually I'm not that bothered because it just looks a bit more rustic, doesn't it? So 3 Oreos I did to make 4 cupcakes, and I've got loads left. So you really don't need to actually do too many of these in one go. You can just do a few biscuits at a time. Okay, that's that. Let's get the green. I've got hardly any left of, so that's why we're doing a bit more brown. I think I've got enough in there just to finish it, have I? Yeah. I think it's just down to the wire. That's okay. We've got enough. That's all we need, isn't it? Not to worry about anything else. I'm just going to put a little bit more in this bag. I've done loads of brown, but not as much green. Okay. Right, now, how are we going to lay these out? That's a very good question. Let's have a little look what we've got. Put our implements on there. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. Now, bearing in mind, this is still going in a cupcake box. The view is this way. Excuse me, the view is this way. So I don't really particularly want to be sort of standing them like that because there's no point. But what I am going to do is just take hold, a little bit of green. I'm going to just wedge that in there like that. In fact, I've had another idea now. Of course I have. Let's put those. So I might just put these 2 on here, and I might put the secateurs with the watering can. Let's make sure it's stuck, because I don't actually think I need much more than that on that one. I think that's enough. And I might just put these secateurs with the watering can. Now this is the thing, if you try and over pipe the Oreos, it's not going to stick, so just be careful there. Put a few sprinkles on there. Let's be consistent, shall we? The brown I've used is called Colour Splash Dark Brown. Nothing more complicated than that. Right, let's go back to this. I think we can do the secateurs on here. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Do you think? Let's move this over a little bit. I think that would work. What space have I got on that one? Or maybe with the garden gnome. Let's see if he looks better with the garden gnome. Hold on, let's try. If not, I might leave them off completely. Oh, decisions, decisions. Nah, the garden gnome looks good on his own. Let's not interfere with that. Let's have a little look. Actually, I'm going to leave them off. I'm going to leave them off. I didn't know if I needed 2 or 3, and I think 2 is enough. So I'm not going to put the secateurs on. I'm just going to stick with these 2 because I'm happy with these. I'm just going to make sure they're completely stuck down. Better to have less than more. Less is more. I'm sure people have heard me saying that before. Look, I'm also getting a bit of mud on my trowel, which I quite like actually. So I'm going to quickly glue some little bit of Oreo on there. Let's put a bit of water on there and then put some Oreo on there. Look at that. You see? Just these little tiny details, they make all the difference. I'm happy with that. I'm just going to make sure the rest of it's going to fall off though, because I don't want to put it in my cupcake box and then find they're all falling all over the place. There we go. Right, okay, so let's get them all together now. So I'm going to just remove that. Let's get another board. I'm not going to put them in my cupcake box while I'm live because that would be just one step too far for me today. I'm just going to put them on here. I'm just going to blow that out so I remember to do it. I have to say the Oreos do spread rather. They're on everything, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There we go. Right, so we started with the little rabbit. There he is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my camera down a little bit. Yeah, there's my little rabbit. He will sit like that, so we will tip him a little bit. And then we've got my gnome. That's my little garden gnome. And then we've got the watering can. And then we've got the little garden implements as well. Now, in my mind, there is one thing missing, which I'm going to correct now. And I wonder if anybody's spotted it. What is missing? I'm telling you what's missing is a red flower on the rabbit, because otherwise there's no red on that and it doesn't look right. So we need to put some little tiny red flowers just in with the rabbit. And then it makes sense. You see the difference? Suddenly we have got a set of very coordinated cupcakes. I'm very happy with these. There we go. Let me just move that over there a second. You might get a better view of this when I take a photo at the end, which I will, of course. I'm going to put some white centres in here. I didn't put sprinkles on this one either, did I? Let me do that quickly. I'll just put a few. We don't need very many. Okay, there we go. There's going to be a big clear-up operation after this, I think. Right, how about that for a set of 4 cupcakes that all coordinate beautifully? I'm just going to take that down for a second just so you can see it a bit better. There we go. Look at that. And all you've had to do is just think a little bit about coordination with colour. I've kept it very neutral. I've kept it very gardening themed. So this purpose of this is for somebody who likes gardening. So we've done a little rabbit because I can still hear him moaning about them. A little watering can. And I've tipped everything up just a little bit. We've tipped the rabbit back a bit because obviously he's going to be looking into a box. We've got a little garden gnome and then his implements on there as well. So there we go. So that's using a lot of the stuff that we have got on Let's Shop. So there's the watering can, there's the rabbit cookie cutters, the little mini garden gnome, the gardening tools, Wilton 18 for the nozzle, the little white Perels, the colours we've got on there, Colour Splash Leaf Green, we've used cocoa butter, we've used pink, we've used all sorts of different things this morning to be able to make this particular set of cupcakes. So I will take a photo of these once the live is over, and what I said earlier still applies to this. So this video will be on YouTube and there will be a little picture that will indicate what I made on this particular live, so you'll be able to go back and watch it for reference if you need to at any point, if you fancy having a go with any of these cookie cutters or whatever it is that I've had a go at today. Okay, there we go. Even I'm pleased with these and I'm really fussy. I'm super fussy. Right, in fact they turned out better than I thought they were going to turn out. I was like, I'll do this, do this, do this. But actually, as I've gone through the process and thought about the colours, it's actually come out really well. So happy days, I'm pleased with those.
So there we are. So this is coming to the end of Let's Shop this morning. So we did talk about the new class that's coming out today, which is the horse. Have I got a picture of it? Yes, I have. So this is the new class that's coming out today. It's horse cake painting. So if you would like to have a go at painting a horse, we have got a new class out today. It is available for gold and silver members, which are on this school, or likewise you can buy the class. It's £25 to buy the class and keep it. So this one is out, say today, and if you'd like to join it, then you need to go to this website, not Let's Shop Cake Live. You need to go to this one, and that's where you'll be able to pick that up. The next class coming after that will be the Royal Ice class, which is this one here, which ironically is actually for the the cupcakes I've just made. I made this cake for their wedding anniversary, so it's actually the same family. How funny. So yeah, this will be another class that's coming out in 2 weeks' time. Don't forget, of course, the amazing Easter burn class that we've had recently as well. So if you want to do a where is the Easter bunny type cake and do a burn on it, then we have got that that's going to be coming out. Where it is, I've just got to burn it every week. I just love this. How can you not love this? It's amazing. So if you want to have a go at making this cake, and don't forget the tutorial also covers how to do the piping and the buttercream, how to layer the cake up, all of those things around it as well. So over the last week or so, or whenever I've been on here, we've been looking at the other cookie cutters as well. We've had the lovely little chick, the little tiny chick that goes on top of the cake. I've shown you different ways of doing the watering can and the Easter basket as well. We still continue to put videos out onto TikTok, so if you are, I put them on here as well, and we get 2 people that like them. And I think, has anybody watched these? So if you do watch the videos, don't forget to just click and say, yeah, I liked it or whatever, because it's quite helpful to have a look on there as well, because those tutorials are there to help you with your cookie cutters. So if you are thinking, I bought this, when did you last do it on Let's Shop, then you will be able to find it on YouTube, hopefully with a picture. I'm very slowly filtering these pictures in. It's taking me a bit of time, but that's what I'm working on at the moment. So there we go. Right, so all of our cookie cutters are on letsshopcakelive.co.uk. Don't forget as well, it's Mother's Day next weekend, then it's 2 weeks, then it's Easter. So Easter is going to come around very quickly this time. So make sure that get yourself organised if you want to make lovely gardening things like I've done, or you want to have a go at doing some of the Easter baskets, the mini rabbits, the mini chicks, all those kinds of things, then they are available now. They are back in stock, which is quite nice as well. And also don't forget, we have our mini Easter bear that sits on top of cupcakes as well, and the larger version as well, and those are in stock as well. So I won't be here next Saturday. I hope to be back the following Saturday, but we'll keep you posted, and we'll do the same thing as we normally do. We'll put up a post for you that will tell you when we're going to be live. Don't forget to click going or interested, because then Facebook will remind you when I'm live, and then you can always watch it live or on catch up, whichever you prefer. But thank you very much everybody that has tuned in to watch today. The website is open now, so letsshopcakelive.co.uk. Pop over there and have a little look and see if I've inspired you to have a go and see if you fancy making some of the lovely things that I've shown you over the last few weeks for Easter and Mother's Day. Don't forget as well, the little tiny discs are available to go on top of cupcakes. There is a selection there for Easter and also one for Mother's Day as well. So if you do want those, you can get those ordered as soon as possible, and we will get those out for you. So enjoy your day. I hope that it's not too wet where you are. It has been horrendous where we are, although I don't live near any rivers particularly, but it's all coming off the fields, and there's plenty of water on our roads as well.